Hey guys, it's Sammy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my Illuminae review slash discussion. So this is a really exciting video. I've been really excited to do this. Starting off, we're going to be doing a little spoiler-free review, and I'm going to discuss it lightly because, once again, I cannot reiterate this enough. Illuminae is a book that you need to go into without knowing anything about it. Without further ado, we will get into the little spoiler-free section that I have prepared for you. So, Illuminae. This is a book written by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. They are two amazing authors, and this book is told through multimedia. If you don't know about multimedia books, this book in particular is wrote through chat logs, surveillance footage summaries, countdowns, as well as statistic logs, pictures, as well as like the Wikipedia pages, but they're called Unipedia pages, which is like universe instead of like. And this book takes place in space. It is a science fiction novel. This book starts off following our two main characters, Katie and Ezra, and they have just broken up, and they're at school, and something happens, and they must evacuate, and okay, look, it's really, really good, and I don't want to explain it to you guys because I want you to go into it blind. I can't discuss this book without being spoilery because it's everything spoilers, everything. What I can say about this book is I love the characters. It might seem a little impersonal at first because you're not in the heads of one of them. You're reading their chat logs, you're reading video summaries of them, of cameras watching them and somebody else talking about them. You're reading letters and you're looking at pictures and you're just taking in the story, so at first you might be really disconnected from the characters, but throughout the book it's so odd, you just become so connected to them. At least that's how I felt. I gave this book 5 stars. It is one of my favorite books ever. I really am trash for this. I can't explain it enough. The main reason, other than the characters, that I absolutely adored this story is I found it not only told beautifully, but also just so interesting. There are so many interesting things that Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman include in this that makes it so good. Like, so good. The ending is fantastic. The twists and turns that are in this novel are so well thought out and carefully planned, and there's so many things leading up to what is going to happen and you just don't catch them until you finally, when something is finally revealed and you string all the things together and you're like, what the hell? Like, what the hell just happened? I know you're looking at this book right now and you're like, oh my god, this is humongous, this is too many pages, I can't read this, it's gonna take forever, but like I said, it's literally told in chat logs. Like, you just read like people talking back and forth. This is like maybe 100 words a page. Like, it's so quick. I think I read this in maybe 3 or 4 days. So please, please, please don't be afraid of the length. I can't reiterate enough. This is a quick read, I promise. That is going to be my spoiler-free review. I don't, oh gosh. If there is any book that, if you own this book, you need to read it. If this is sitting on your shelf, you need to read this book. I cannot reiterate enough how good this book is. And, spoiler alert, not really spoiler alert, but like, the next book in this book series is so much better. I cannot. It's so good. But anyway, if you guys have read this book, stick around. I'm about to chat up about how much I loved it as well, and we can discuss it a little bit. So, bye, spoiler-free people. So, as you can see from my lovely tabs, I adored this book a lot. I loved all of the things that were included in this book. I adored the chat logs and I adored the pictures. I have not only like my favorite scenes tabbed in this, but I also just have beautiful pictures. I think that's most of the ones that are on the bottom. Some of my favorite parts of this book were just the pictures that were drawn and stuff like that, so minimalistic, like this, like silence. Like, it's so, like, I can't. This page I think is my favorite page. If you can't tell, it's like the Scream picture, or the Scream, I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the Scream. And it's told, and it's just drawn in like code, and I love it. Like, this is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. How can you not love this? Can we talk about Aiden for a second? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first like was reading this and I found out like what this like computer. I'm literally talking about a computer right now. But I was like, this is the worst. Like, this is a villain. Like, Aiden is a villain. But I just, like, the more I read into him, I was like reading into a computer, but it was just so deep, and I really enjoyed the addition of like such futuristic elements that like robots are going to have like human feelings and stuff like that. And obviously my favorite quote, "Am I not merciful?" It's just like so minimalistic that I just adore it. Like, if I was gonna get a tattoo, it would be like, "Am I not merciful?" or something like that. Man, I'm trash. So starting off with Katie and Ezra, I was not like the biggest fan of them. Like, going into this, I wasn't going into it for any kind of romance. I enjoyed their characters plenty. I enjoyed them both separately. Obviously, I think I liked Katie more, but obviously she was shown more. She was more of the protagonist, even though I think this is probably marketed as like a dual perspective, like not dual perspective, but like those are the two main characters. I think most people would agree. Regardless of that fact, I thought they're like, they weren't like, I wasn't super attached to the characters. Like, I obviously was, given that the ending like messed me up so much, but I think the thing I appreciated most about this was the plot. The whole escaping refugees, like they are refugees escaping from a planet that was completely destroyed, and then to have one of their ships blow up and then have to find out that on that ship is people with this mutant disease where they turn into psychotic killers is something that I can't even explain to you, like how exciting that sounded to me. Like, when I first read this and I was getting through it, I was like, oh my god, the scariest thing to me is literally diseases. We got to the point where they were starting to bring up like this mutant killer disease, and I was like, this is like that movie like Contagion with, I don't remember, Gwyneth Paltrow, I think, and that movie scarred me. I don't like the idea of a disease just wiping out a whole like world. Like, I feel like that could happen and I don't like it. So when it showed up in here, I was like, I can't, because the idea of not only one of my favorite characters dying in this, but one of my favorite characters getting this disease and then killing other people is honestly so much worse. They didn't do that to any of the characters, luckily, you know, obviously, but that was the scariest thought going through my head, was that Ezra was going to be this mutant, crazy, axe-wielding psycho killer, and Katie was going to run into him and she was going to have to kill him. And I was just like, you can't do this. They didn't do it, which I was pretty sure that they would have done it, because I would have done it if I was writing the story, but regardless, I appreciate that they didn't. And then they told us that Ezra was dead, and I was like, since this is told in like a file format, I think we would have known, like, if he was dead. Like, she's like, the files that would have included his death would have been in here, and it would have been very explicitly in here. And then like we just had to trust Aiden when he said that he was dead. I was like, okay, sure. And like I did believe him, but like later on I was like, this was fishy. And then obviously they said that it wasn't him and that he was actually survived. And then at the very end, she was okay and everything in the world was good. And there was illumination. And then at the very end, we find out that Katie Grant is in fact the leader of the Illuminae group, I think. That's what I've gathered. And I think that in itself is like the most like definitive thing in my brain, at least, is that she's going to survive this whole series, and so should Ezra. I'm almost positive of this, because at the end she talks about how she's talking to Ezra's mom. She's talking to Ezra's mom, and she's like, he's still alive. But this is a year later, so it's after all of the happenings of the trilogy is what I'm gathering. So they both survive. So that's good. The thing about this is I'm just so excited that you can't really kill off any of the characters, and because of that, I'm just so much more interested in the plot instead of constantly worrying about if somebody is going to die or not. And that's really getting sick of it, especially with like the Sarah J Maas books. I've just, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you're so caught up in the characters and worrying about if she's going to kill them off or not, you can't even pay attention to if the plot is good or not. And obviously I'm so drawn into the characters and I love the characters in Sarah J Maas's books, but I'm so like going on a tangent right now. But anyway, I just really appreciate that this book doesn't dwell on the fact like killing off main characters for a plot twist. This, I don't know, because it kind of does dwell off the plot. Like they killed off Ezra and that was like a plot twist, and then he was alive, so like I don't know, it's very iffy. But you focus on the plot, and I think that in itself, I think the plot of this story was so good. The idea behind it was amazing, and I really appreciated how it was done. If you guys want me to flip through my tabs, especially in this book, because I believe it's really useful, because I didn't show you all of my favorite pictures and stuff like that. There are so many more pictures that I really appreciate. Like, this stuff is really nice. So I would love to do a flip through for you. I might do it regardless if you want to see it or not. But let me know down below if you would be interested in that. So it was like a quick little overview so you know my feelings on this book if you have read it. I love this book. 5 stars. I like the characters even though they weren't my favorite. If you have read Gemina, you'll know that the characters in that book are a hell of a lot better than the characters in this book. They're more fleshed out. Stuff like that. Not going to get into that in this. The plot in this was stellar. The disease, the planet blowing up, everything was so well thought out and so well executed that I could not be bothered with anything else that was happening. I was just completely in this world. The ending was great. It led a great spot for the next book to come and fill in, and I thought it was really good. Obviously, it's beautifully written. There are so many great aspects of this book other than the fact that it's writing. There's beautiful pictures, there's beautiful diagrams, there is just lyrical writing, especially from Aiden, which I'm still wishy-washy about but I think he's a pretty good robot computer. Anyway. Alright guys, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I plan on doing a lot more reviews this year, so hopefully you will see a lot more of these kinds of videos very soon. Once again, all of my social media links are down below. Also, the poll you can take to give me feedback on my content is also linked down below. I hope you have a great day. Bye!